Before we begin, just a quick moment. Write in the comments which part of this world you're listening from right now and what time it is where you are. I'm curious, are you listening in the quiet of late night? Or perhaps in the early morning hours when sleep hasn't come yet? Just leave a word or two and then settle in, because this time right now, is entirely yours. So, find your place of rest. Let your body settle into the surface that holds you. Feel the gentle pull of gravity, a constant, reassuring presence holding you to the earth. Allow your shoulders to soften, to release the invisible weight they have been carrying all day long. Let your jaw unclench and allow a little space to form between your teeth. Take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs completely. And as you exhale, release the day. Release the conversations, the tasks, the worries. Let them all drift away on the tide of your out-breath, leaving only the quiet shore of this present moment. Here, in the stillness of your room, there is only you. There is the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, the soft fabric against your skin, the subtle temperature of the air. This is your sanctuary. And tonight, we are going to embark on a journey together, a quiet metamorphosis of the heart. We are here to tend to a very specific and tender ache, the ache of a silence where you longed for a voice, the quiet space left by a phone that did not ring. It is a unique kind of stillness, isn't it? It can feel heavy, hollow, like a room in your heart that was expecting a visitor who never arrived. And in that quiet, questions can echo, doubts can whisper, a feeling of being forgotten can slowly creep in. This is a deeply human experience, a testament to the profound love you carry and the connection you cherish. But what if we could look at this silence in a new way? What if this quiet was not an emptiness to be feared, but an invitation to be answered? This is the central question we will explore together. We will wonder if this perceived emptiness is actually a sacred space, a vessel waiting to be filled not from the outside, but from a deep, inexhaustible wellspring within you. Over the course of our time together, we will journey into this space. We will gently meet the feelings that arise there, the hurt, the frustration, the flicker of anger or sadness, and we will learn to hold them with a kindness so profound that they begin to transform. We will discover that the love you have given throughout your life has not vanished. It has become a permanent part of the universe, and more importantly, a permanent part of you. We will learn to be the gardener of our own inner world, tending to the roots of our own worthiness, a worth that is as constant and unwavering as a star in the night sky. By the end of our journey, the silence of the room will no longer feel like a void. It will feel like a soft, protective blanket, a sanctuary for rest and deep, restorative peace. So let us begin this metamorphosis, this gentle turning inward. Start by bringing your awareness back to your breath. Don't try to change it. Just notice it. Notice the cool air as it enters your nostrils and the warm air as it leaves. Each breath is a quiet anchor to this moment, right here, right now. Feel how your chest or your belly gently rises with the inhale and softly falls with the exhale. This rhythm has been with you your entire life. It is a constant, faithful companion. It asks for nothing, but gives you everything. It is the steady drumbeat of your own life force, a reminder that you are here, you are whole, you are alive. Now, allow your awareness to expand, to fill the space of your body. Feel the weight of your legs, the stillness of your arms, the gentle curve of your spine. Notice any areas of tension, perhaps in your neck or your lower back. You don't need to force them to relax. Simply bring your gentle, curious attention to them. Imagine your breath traveling to these places, carrying with it a sense of warmth and ease. With each exhale, you can imagine a little bit of that tightness dissolving, melting away like sugar in warm water. There is no rush. There is nowhere else to be. The work of this moment is simply to be present with yourself, with profound and unconditional kindness. Think of this process as preparing the soil. Before a seed can undergo its own metamorphosis into a plant, the ground must be soft, receptive, and welcoming. And so, we are softening the ground of our own being. We are loosening the compacted earth of expectation and disappointment. We are allowing our own awareness to become a gentle, nourishing rain, preparing us for the growth that is to come. This initial act of simply paying attention to your body and your breath is an act of deep love. It is a way of saying to yourself, I am here with you. I will not abandon you in this feeling. We will go through this together. This is the quiet invitation, not from a voice on the phone, but from the very core of your own being. It is an invitation to come home to yourself, an invitation to discover a love that is not dependent on anyone else's actions or inactions, a love that is as reliable as your next breath, as constant as your own heartbeat. The silence in the room is not an absence, it is an opening. It is the space in which this profound transformation can finally begin. And you have already taken the first, most important step simply by choosing to be here, to listen, and to offer yourself this time for healing and for peace. The journey has begun. And all that is required of you now is to rest, to breathe, and to allow. As you continue to rest, held by the stillness, let us gently turn our attention toward the heart of our journey tonight. Let's acknowledge, with courage and with kindness, the specific weight of a silent phone. You know this feeling. It is not just a thought or an idea. It is a physical presence. Without forcing anything, without needing to relive any specific moment, just see if you can notice the subtle echo of it within your own body. Where does this feeling reside for you? For many, it lives in the chest. A feeling of tightness, perhaps, like a soft band gently constricting the heart. Not painful, but present. A pressure that reminds you something is being held. Something is being waited for. For others, it is a hollow sensation, an ache in the center of the stomach. It's the feeling of emptiness, a space that was prepared for the warmth of connection but remains cool and quiet. It can even be a lump in the throat, a collection of unspoken words and unasked questions. Wherever you feel it, just acknowledge its presence. Let your awareness rest upon it as gently as a hand on a sleeping child. There is no need to push it away or wish it were different. For this moment, we are simply going to be with it, to listen to what it has to say. Now, here is the first and most important transformation we will make together. We are going to explore this feeling not as a flaw, not as evidence of neediness or a sign that something is wrong with you. Instead, let's consider that this feeling is a tender, intelligent signal from the very core of your being. It is a messenger. Think of it like a compass needle. The sharp ache, the hollowness, the tightness. That is simply the needle quivering. And why does it quiver? Because it is pointing so directly, so faithfully toward what you value most. It is pointing toward love, toward connection, toward the beautiful, powerful bonds you have spent a lifetime creating. The intensity of the feeling is not a measure of your lack. It is a measure of your capacity to love. It is a testament to the depth of the well of love that exists within you. A shallow pool is not disturbed by a missing stone, but a deep well echoes. This feeling is the echo of your own depth. It is your heart in its profound wisdom, sending you a signal. It is saying, pay attention right here. This is important. This matters to us. It is not an accusation. It is an invitation. An invitation to bring your own warmth, your own kindness, your own gentle presence to this sensitive place within you. So often, our first instinct is to judge this feeling, to scold ourselves for having it. We might think, I shouldn't feel this way. I should be stronger. I should be more independent. But tonight, we will do the opposite. We will honor this signal. We will thank it for its honesty. It is a pure, unfiltered expression of your humanity and your beautiful heart. With this new understanding, let's re-examine the silence itself. The silence that filled the space where a call was expected. For a moment, it may have felt like a void, an emptiness defined by what was not there. But what if we looked at it differently? What if this silence is not an empty space, but a sacred one? Imagine you had prepared a beautiful, quiet room for a cherished guest. You cleaned it. You made it comfortable. You waited in anticipation. When the guest did not arrive, the room did not vanish. The room itself, in all its quiet potential, remained. The silence is that room. It is a space you have held open in your heart. And now, you have a choice. You can continue to see it as the room of a guest who didn't show up, focusing only on the absence. Or, you can enter that room yourself. You can see it for what it is, a quiet, peaceful, sacred space within your own being. A space that is now available for you. This is a profound shift in perspective. The silence is no longer an antagonist, a symbol of what you lack. It becomes a sanctuary. It becomes a monastery cell, a quiet garden, a starlit field where you can finally meet yourself with undivided attention. It is the fertile ground where a new kind of love, a self-sustaining love, can be discovered and cultivated. The ache you feel is the tilling of the soil, preparing it for a new seed. This feeling, this weight of the silent phone, is therefore not the end of the story. It is the beginning. It is the point of entry. It is the raw material for our gentle alchemy tonight. By honoring its presence in your body, by understanding it as a loving signal from your own heart, and by reframing the silence as a sacred space, you are already beginning the metamorphosis. You are transforming the lead of loneliness and disappointment into the gold of self-awareness and inner peace. You are taking the very thing that caused you pain, and you are consecrating it, turning it into the foundation of a deeper, more resilient sense of love and belonging that comes not from a phone call, but from the very center of your own soul. Let yourself rest in this new possibility. The ache is not a wound. It is the doorway. And you are gently, lovingly, beginning to push it open. Now, as we rest here together in this quiet, sacred space you've created, let us go one step deeper. Let us have the courage to gently name the echoes that can arise in the silence. When the phone doesn't ring, when the message doesn't arrive, it isn't just the quiet that we feel. It's what the quiet seems to say. In the space left by an absent voice, other voices can begin to whisper. The voices of doubt, of fear, of old and tender stories we carry within us. We're going to listen to these whispers now, not to believe them, but to simply acknowledge them, to bring them out of the shadows and into the gentle light of our awareness. One of the first echoes is often a question directed inward, a subtle turning of the blame upon ourselves. The whisper might sound like this: "Did I do something wrong?" Perhaps it's a replay of the last conversation, searching for a misstep, a wrong word, a tone that might have pushed them away. Did I say too much? Did I not say enough? This question comes from a place of deep love and a desire to maintain connection, but it can quickly spiral into a painful and fruitless search for a fault that likely doesn't exist. It's the mind trying to find a reason, an explanation for the ache, because a reason feels more controllable than the vast, unpredictable reality of another person's life. Another echo, perhaps a more vulnerable one, whispers, "Have they forgotten me?" This question taps into a fundamental human fear, the fear of being invisible, of ceasing to matter to those who matter most to us. It conjures images of their busy lives, full of work, friends, and immediate concerns. And in that bustling picture, we can feel ourselves fading into the background, a memory rather than a present reality. The heart aches with this thought because the love you feel is so present, so vibrant. It's hard to imagine it not being at the forefront of their mind as well. And then there's a close cousin to that whisper, one that can feel even sharper. Am I an afterthought? This is the feeling of being relegated to the bottom of a to-do list, a call to be made only when all other, more important things are done. It stings our sense of worth, our sense of place in their lives. It's the story that their silence isn't just a neutral event, but an active statement about our priority, or lack thereof. These questions, did I do something wrong? Have they forgotten me? Am I an afterthought? Are painful. They are the sharp edges of the silence. Now, this is the crucial part of our practice tonight. We are going to observe these thoughts without judgment. Imagine you are sitting on the soft grass of a hillside on a partly cloudy day. You are looking up at the vast open sky of your own awareness. This sky is your true nature, calm, spacious, and unchanging. These thoughts, these painful questions, are simply clouds passing through the sky. One cloud drifts by, shaped like, did I do wrong? Another follows, looking like, have I been forgotten? You see them. You acknowledge their shape, their color, their texture, but you do not mistake them for the sky itself. You are the sky, not the cloud. You don't have to grab onto the clouds. You don't have to fight them or push them away. You certainly don't have to believe them. Your only task is to watch them drift. Notice how they form, how they linger for a moment, and how, if you let them, they will eventually dissolve and drift on by, revealing the clear, peaceful blue sky that was always there behind them. This practice of non-judgmental observation is incredibly powerful. It creates a space between you and the thought. In that space, you find your freedom. The thought is no longer an undeniable truth. It's just a thought, an echo, a cloud, and you are the vast, stable sky that holds it all with grace. As we watch these clouds, we can also bring in a layer of understanding and compassion. Where do these questions even come from? They are not signs of weakness. They are expressions of a profound and universal human need. The need to feel connected, the need to feel cherished, the need to belong. Every single human being on this planet shares these fundamental needs. They are as essential to our emotional well-being as air and water are to our physical bodies. So when these needs feel unmet, it is natural for the mind to generate these questions, these stories, these what-ifs. It's the heart's way of trying to make sense of a painful experience. It's a distress signal. By understanding this, we can stop judging the thoughts and instead feel a deep compassion for the part of us that is hurting, for the part of us that is simply trying to express its deep need for love. We can say to that part of ourselves, "I hear you. I understand why you feel this way. It is okay. You are allowed to feel this. Your need for connection is valid and beautiful." This is how we begin to heal the ache from the inside out, not by getting the phone call we wanted, but by providing the loving presence we've been longing for, directly to ourselves. As you continue to rest in this space of gentle observation, watching the clouds of thought drift through the sky of your awareness, let's now turn our attention to the source of many of these clouds. Where do they gather their storm? So often, the turbulence comes from a place of unspoken rules, a quiet collection of expectations we hold about how things are supposed to be. Let's take a moment to examine this intricate, invisible architecture of should. Without any judgment, just with a soft curiosity, see if you can recognize any of these silent rules within your own heart. One might be a rule about frequency. They should call once a week. It seems so reasonable, doesn't it? A simple check-in, a connection point. It's a rule born from love, a desire to maintain the rhythm of a relationship. Or perhaps there's a rule about intuition. They should just know that I'm waiting. Or they should sense when I'm feeling lonely and need to hear from them. This rule comes from a deep longing for a seamless, unspoken connection, a bond so strong it transcends the need for words. Another common one is a rule about reciprocity. I always call them, so they should call me. This is the rule of fairness, of balance, of a love that is given and received in equal measure. There might be rules about special occasions, about holidays, about ordinary Tuesdays. They should have called after that appointment. They should have known today was a hard day for me. These shoulds are not malicious. They are not demands. They are, in their own way, love songs. They are the lyrics to the beautiful melody of the relationship we imagine, the one we deeply desire. They are our heart's blueprint for the perfect connection. So for a moment, let's visualize this entire collection of shoulds, all these rules and expectations, as a magnificent sculpture. Imagine it in the center of a quiet room in your mind. It is made of the most delicate, intricate, hand-blown glass. It is breathtakingly beautiful. The rule about weekly calls might be a spiraling crystal spire. The rule about them just knowing could be a web of impossibly thin, shimmering glass threads. The rule of fairness might be a perfectly balanced set of crystalline scales. The whole sculpture glows with an inner light, the light of your love and your longing. It represents your ideal, your dream of how love should look and feel. And it is, in its own way, a masterpiece. Now, here is the tender truth about this sculpture. While it is beautiful to behold, it was never meant to be lived in. It is far too fragile. Life, in its messy, unpredictable, glorious reality, is not a quiet museum. It is a bustling, chaotic, ever-changing landscape. And the people we love, including our grown children, are living their own complex lives within that landscape. They have their own weather systems, their own stresses, joys, distractions, and moments of quiet introspection. Their lives are not designed to perfectly align with the delicate architecture of our glass sculpture, and so, inevitably, they bump into it. A missed call is like a sudden gust of wind. A period of silence is like a tremor in the floor. And when they bump into it, the fragile glass shatters. And the sound of that shattering is the pain we feel. It is the sting of disappointment, the ache of an expectation that has not been met. We are left standing in the ruins of our beautiful should, hurting not necessarily because of their action, but because of the collision between their reality and our fragile ideal. The transformation, the deep meditative act for us tonight, is not to try and force them to be more careful around the sculpture. It's not to send them a manual on how to navigate the museum of our expectations. The real path to peace is to watch the sculpture itself dissolve, gently, lovingly, without blame or regret. Let's do this now with our imagination. Bring your awareness back to that glowing glass sculpture of shoulds. And now, imagine a warm, gentle light beginning to fill the room. This is the light of acceptance, the light of reality. As this warm light touches the sculpture, watch what happens. The crystal spires don't shatter. They begin to soften. The sharp edges melt. The rigid structures begin to flow like honey. Watch the whole intricate creation slowly, peacefully dissolve into a pool of shimmering liquid light on the floor. There is no violence in this process. There is no loss. It is simply a transformation from a rigid, fragile form into something fluid, warm, and adaptable. What you are releasing is not your love. You are not releasing your desire for connection. You are simply releasing the pressure for reality to perfectly match your fantasy. You are releasing the specific, rigid blueprints and instead opening up to the way things actually are. As the sculpture dissolves, feel the tension in your own body dissolving with it. The tightness in your shoulders that was trying to hold it all together. The clenching in your jaw that was bracing for the next disappointment. Let it all go. In the place where the fragile sculpture once stood, there is now just open space. Warm, quiet, peaceful space. This space is not empty. It is full of potential. It is full of love. A love that is no longer conditional on a specific set of rules being followed. It is a love that can now meet your children where they are, in the reality of their lives, without the painful sound of shattering glass in the background. This is a profound act of love, both for them and for yourself. You are giving them the freedom to be human, and you are giving yourself the freedom from the constant, exhausting work of protecting a fragile and impossible ideal. Rest in this open space. It is the landscape of true peace. As we rest in this newfound open space, free from the fragile architecture of shoulds, we can now turn to another powerful energy that often arises in the silence. The flash of anger or the deep sting of hurt. It is vital that we honor this feeling. So often, we are taught that feelings like anger are negative, something to be suppressed or ashamed of. But tonight, we will view it differently. This flash of heat is not a flaw. It is a sign of life. It is the fierce, protective energy of a heart that feels overlooked or unappreciated. It is the cry of a love that feels unseen. It is a testament to how deeply you care. To deny this feeling is to deny a part of your own truth. So, let us not push it away. Instead, let's invite it in and get to know it with a gentle, fearless curiosity. Imagine for a moment that this feeling of anger, or frustration, or hurt takes the form of a small, hot ember. It's the kind of ember left over from a once roaring fire, a fire of deep love and connection. When the silence feels like a cold wind, this ember can flare up, glowing with a hot red intensity. Our first instinct, when we feel this heat, is often to clench our hand around it. We grip it tightly, partly to contain it, and partly because the story our mind tells us, "I have a right to be angry," makes us hold on even tighter. We believe that holding onto the ember is how we validate our own pain. But what happens when you clench your fist around a hot coal? The heat doesn't go away. It sears your own palm. The anger, held tightly, burns you more than anyone else. It circulates in your own body, creating tension, raising your blood pressure, and disturbing your peace. The person whose silence sparked the ember is far away, completely unaware of the heat you are holding in your hand. The metamorphosis, the moment of profound transformation, is not in trying to extinguish the ember. It's not in pretending it isn't hot. The transformation is in the simple, courageous choice to gently, slowly open the hand. Let's practice this with our imagination right now. See that glowing ember of hurt or anger resting in the palm of your mind's hand. Feel its heat, acknowledge its power, and now, with infinite care, begin to unfurl your fingers, one by one. There is no rush. This is an act of profound self-compassion. As you open your hand, you are not condoning the silence or saying your feelings are invalid. You are simply choosing to stop burning yourself. You are choosing peace over pain. As your hand opens, notice what happens to the ember. Exposed to the cool, open air of your awareness, it begins to change. The fierce, angry red glow starts to soften. The sharp edges of heat begin to dissipate. It doesn't vanish instantly, but its power to burn you is diminished. It is no longer a weapon or a wound. It is simply a cooling object, a piece of charcoal that tells the story of a fire that once was. By opening your hand, you have transformed your relationship with the feeling. You are no longer its prisoner. You are its calm, compassionate witness. You have taken back your power, not by lashing out, but by letting go. This is the alchemy of emotion. You are allowing the raw energy of anger to transform into the quiet strength of release. Now, let's deepen this release with the rhythm of our breath. Our breath is the most powerful tool we have for regulating our inner state. It is the physical anchor for our emotional freedom. So, let us begin a simple breathing practice. As you breathe in, imagine you are inhaling a cool, calming, spacious sense of peace. Picture it as a gentle, silvery mist, entering your body and traveling to the very place where you are holding that heat. Imagine this cool mist swirling around the now cooling ember, soothing any lingering heat, bringing a sense of ease and relief. Breathe in calm. Breathe in spaciousness. Breathe in peace. And now, with the out-breath, you will exhale the heat of frustration. Imagine the last remnants of that fiery energy, the leftover smoke and ash, being gently carried out of your body on the tide of your breath. Let it go completely. You don't need to force it out. Just allow the natural release of the exhale to carry it away. Inhale the cool, soothing mist of calm. Exhale the warm, residual heat of frustration. With each cycle of breath, you are creating more and more spaciousness within. You are cleansing your inner world. The space that was once occupied by the clenched fist of anger is now becoming an open, peaceful landscape. Feel the physical shift in your body as you do this. Notice the softening in your shoulders, the release in your stomach, the ease in your heart. You are using your own breath, your own life force, to heal yourself from the inside out. This is not about denying your feelings. It is about metabolizing them. It is about honoring the energy they bring, and then consciously choosing to transform that energy into something that nourishes you rather than depletes you. Keep breathing. In with the cool calm, out with the warm frustration. You are becoming a safe harbor for your own heart. Having gently opened our hand to release the heat of anger, and having soothed ourselves with the cool balm of our own breath, we now find ourselves in a quieter, more spacious inner landscape. From this place of calm, we can now make a truly profound shift in our attention. For much of our journey so far, our focus has been on what feels absent: the call, the connection, the reassurance we are longing for from the outside. We have been looking at a perceived deficit. Now, we are going to turn our gaze 180 degrees. We are going to shift our attention away from the love we feel we are lacking and turn it towards the immense, undeniable, and permanent love that we have given. I want you to let your mind drift back in time. There's no need to search for a specific memory. Just allow feelings and images to arise naturally. Drift back to the time when your children were small. Can you recall, not just as a thought, but as a physical sensation, the feeling of holding a very small hand in yours? Remember the way their fingers would instinctively curl around one of yours, a perfect, trusting grip. Feel the warmth, the softness, the sheer life in that tiny hand. That connection was real. The love that flowed from you into them in that simple touch was a powerful, life-giving force. Allow yourself to remember the weight of a sleeping child in your arms, the complete surrender, the absolute trust. Remember the scent of their hair, the soft rhythm of their breathing against your chest. In those moments, in the deep quiet of the night, you were their entire world. You were their comfort, their safety, their harbor. The love you poured out was not a transaction. It was a boundless offering. It was the fierce, tender, and unwavering love of a protector, a nurturer, a parent. Can you feel the echo of that love in your body right now? It hasn't gone anywhere. It is woven into the very fabric of your being. Think of all the times you offered comfort. A scraped knee on the playground, a nightmare in the middle of the night, a teenage heartbreak. Remember the stories you read, the songs you sang, the meals you prepared. Each of these acts was a deposit of love. Each gesture was a thread you wove into the tapestry of their lives. You were building them, cell by cell, with your care, your attention, your patience, and your love. This wasn't a small thing. This was the most important work in the universe. You were nurturing the growth of another human soul. The love required for that task is monumental. It is oceanic in its depth and cosmic in its scale. Now, here is the essential truth we must grasp tonight. That love, the love you gave, does not deplete. It does not vanish when it is not actively being returned or acknowledged. It does not evaporate into thin air. It has become a permanent part of your own being. Imagine that this love is a vast, underground wellspring deep within you. Every act of kindness, every moment of care, every patient answer to a child's question was like a drop of rain that fell, seeped into the earth, and filled that well. For years and years, you filled it. Through sleepless nights and busy days, through triumphs and challenges, you filled it to the brim. The love you feel you are missing now is just a cupful you are hoping someone will bring you from the outside, but you are sitting on the edge of an infinite spring-fed well. This wellspring is your source. It is an internal, self-replenishing aquifer of love. It does not empty when it is not being refilled from an external source. Its waters are yours forever. The love you have given has transformed you. It has carved canyons of compassion in your soul. It has softened your heart and deepened your capacity for empathy. It is, quite literally, what you are made of now. The silence on the phone does not and cannot diminish this. The lack of a call cannot drain your well. It is your permanent resource, your inner wealth. So, for the next few moments, simply rest with this awareness. Shift your focus from the empty cup of your expectation to the full, deep well of your own loving history. Feel its presence within you. It might feel like a warmth in your chest, a sense of quiet strength in your core, or just a peaceful knowing. You are not a beggar waiting for a few drops of love. You are the custodian of a vast and precious resource. You are a being constituted of love, built from a lifetime of giving it. When you truly connect with this reality, the desperate ache for external validation begins to soften. You realize that you already possess the very thing you thought you were missing. You are not empty. You are full. Full of the memories, the feelings, and the undeniable reality of a love so powerful it helped create the very people you cherish today. Rest in that fullness. It is your truth. It is your strength. As you rest in the deep, quiet fullness of the love you have given, let's explore this shift in perspective through a new and beautiful metaphor. Allow your mind to become a garden. And in this garden, I want you to see yourself as the gardener. For years, this was your most sacred and devoted role. You didn't just tend any garden. You were entrusted with the most precious seeds imaginable, the seeds that would become your children. Think back to the beginning. You held these tiny seeds in your hands, full of awe and a fierce sense of purpose. You knew that everything they needed to become themselves was already encoded within them, but that they needed you to provide the perfect conditions for that potential to unfold. And so, your work began. You were the one who prepared the soil, clearing away the rocks of fear and enriching it with the nutrients of safety and love. You carefully planted the seeds in the warmth and darkness, trusting in a process you couldn't see but knew was happening. You watered them with your attention, with your patience, with your very life force. You protected the tender sprouts from the harsh winds of the world, building shelters of comfort and security around them. You spent countless hours on your knees in this garden. You pulled the weeds of bad habits and negative influences with gentle, persistent care. You made sure they had enough sunlight, the sunlight of your joy, your encouragement, and your belief in them. You sang to them, you talked to them, you simply sat with them, your loving presence a constant nourishing force in their environment. You watched, with a gardener's quiet pride, as the first leaves unfurled, as the stems grew strong and reached for the sky. You celebrated every small bit of growth, the first blossom, the first fruit, as if it were the greatest miracle in the universe. And in truth, it was. Your love was the weather, the soil, and the sun. You are the faithful, tireless, devoted gardener of these precious lives. This was your work, and you did it beautifully. Now, here is the great turning point in our story. Look at your garden today. It is no longer a plot of tender seedlings that depend on you for their daily survival. Your work was so successful, your care so complete, that the seeds have fulfilled their destiny. They are no longer seeds. They are no longer saplings. They have become a forest. See them now, not as small plants in your backyard, but as magnificent towering trees standing on their own distant hillsides. Each one is a vast, complex ecosystem unto itself. They have their own deep roots, roots that you helped establish, but that now draw nourishment from sources you cannot see. They have their own seasons. They have times of vibrant, leafy growth and times of quiet, inward dormancy. You cannot control their seasons. They have their own winds blowing through their branches, the winds of their careers, their relationships, their own personal challenges and triumphs. You cannot command these winds to be still. They have their own rains that fall upon them, their own storms that they must learn to weather. You are no longer the one holding the watering can. And here is the most important part. A healthy forest has a sound. And very often, that sound is a deep and profound silence. It is not an empty silence. It is a silence full of life. It is the sound of roots deepening. It is the sound of leaves turning sunlight into energy. It is the sound of sap rising, of bark thickening, of ecosystems finding their balance. Their silence, the silence on the other end of the phone, is not an absence of roots connecting back to you. It is the sound of their own wild, beautiful, independent growth. It is the sound of the forest breathing. This shift in perspective is everything. When we see them as seedlings that still need our constant watering, their silence feels like neglect. It feels like we, the gardeners, are being forgotten, our purpose made obsolete. The silence feels like a failure. But when we see them as the mighty forests they have become, their silence is transformed. It becomes evidence of our success. The fact that they can stand so strong on their own, that they can weather their own storms and experience their own seasons without our constant intervention, is the ultimate testament to the quality of our care. We were such good gardeners that we have rendered our daily tending obsolete. We have worked ourselves out of a job, and this is the gardener's greatest triumph. So, let this new image settle into your heart. You are the gardener who cultivated a magnificent forest. And now, your role has changed. You are no longer on your knees in the dirt. You are now the one who can sit back on the porch, look out at the distant, beautiful hillsides where your trees stand strong against the sky, and feel a deep, quiet, and profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Their independence is not a rejection of you. It is the glorious, living proof of your love. Let their silence be the sound of their strength. Let it be a peaceful hum on the horizon, a reminder that the garden you tended so faithfully is now a thriving, self-sustaining world. And in that, you can find a deep and abiding rest. Resting in this peaceful image of the gardener and the grown forest, feeling the deep fulfillment of a job well done, we can now venture into an even more subtle and liberating transformation. Let's gently contemplate the very idea of measuring love. As human beings, we have a natural tendency to want to quantify things. We measure time, distance, weight, and success. It gives us a sense of order and understanding. And unconsciously, we often try to apply these same tools of measurement to the most immeasurable thing of all, love. We bring out our invisible rulers and ledgers. We measure love in the frequency of calls, the length of visits, the number of text messages. We keep a silent, often subconscious scorecard. I called them 3 times this month. They called me once. We use a calendar to measure affection. They remembered my birthday, but they forgot the anniversary of this other important day. We use a clock to gauge their care. Our last conversation was only 5 minutes long. They must have been in a hurry to get off the phone. We measure love in the currency of shared information, feeling that if we aren't told everything, we are being held at a distance. This entire system of measurement is built from a place of love and a desire for connection, but it is a system that is destined to cause pain. Because true love, the deep, foundational love between a parent and a child, simply cannot be held in these tiny containers. It is far too vast, too mysterious, too elemental. Trying to measure this kind of love with calls and texts is like trying to measure the ocean with a teaspoon. You can dip your spoon in and bring up a sample, but what you hold in the spoon is not the ocean. It is a tiny, temporary taste that cannot possibly convey the ocean's depth, its power, its tides, its immense and life-giving mystery. The 5-minute phone call is a teaspoon. The weekly check-in is a teaspoon. They are small, fleeting samples, while the love itself is the entire boundless ocean that connects you both, whether you are sampling it at that moment or not. To fixate on the teaspoon is to forget the existence of the ocean. It is to mistake the symbol for the substance. So, let us engage in a gentle, meditative act of surrender. I want you to visualize, in your mind's eye, a small, simple wooden boat. It is sturdy and peaceful, floating on the calm, clear water of a slow-moving river. The sun is warm, the air is still. Now, one by one, let's gather up all of our tools of measurement. Pick up the invisible clock that you use to time conversations. Feel its weight in your hand, the weight of expectation. And now, with a sense of gentle release, place it in the boat. Next, find the calendar where you mark the dates of calls received and calls missed. See the little check marks and the empty squares. Acknowledge the story it tells, and then, softly, place the calendar in the boat beside the clock. Now, find the scorecard, the mental ledger of giving and receiving. It might be long and detailed. Thank it for its attempt to create fairness and order, and then let it go. Place it in the boat. Look around for any other tools you might have, the ruler you use to measure the distance you feel between you, the scale you use to weigh their words. Gather them all up. Any instrument designed to quantify, to track, to prove, or to disprove the existence of love. Place every single one of them onto that small wooden boat. Now, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, give the boat a gentle, loving push out into the current of the river. Watch as it begins to drift away. It doesn't struggle or sink. It simply floats, carried by a force much greater than your own effort. Watch it as it gets smaller and smaller, drifting peacefully around a bend in the river until it disappears from sight completely. And feel the release. Feel the lightness in your spirit now that you are no longer burdened with the impossible task of being an accountant for affection. You have laid down your tools. You have resigned from the job of measurement. And what are you left with? You are left with the love itself. Not love as a transaction to be tracked, but love as an atmosphere to be breathed. It is the air around you. It is the water of the river. It is the warmth of the sun. It is a constant ambient presence that doesn't need to be measured to be real. It simply is. By letting go of quantification, you open yourself up to a much deeper and more resilient form of connection. You begin to trust in the existence of the ocean, even on the days when you don't get to taste it. You trust in the strength of the roots that connect your forest to theirs, even when you can't see them. You allow love to be what it truly is, a foundational truth, a state of being that connects you, unchanging and profound, beneath the surface-level fluctuations of daily communication. It is a bond forged in time and experience, a bond that cannot be broken or diminished by a period of silence. Rest in this new freedom, the freedom from measurement, the freedom to simply let love be the vast, unquantifiable, and ever-present force that it is. Having released the heavy tools of measurement and allowed them to drift away down the river, we find ourselves floating in a much gentler current. This is the current of acceptance. From this peaceful place, we can now reflect on a simple but profoundly liberating truth. All human relationships are beautifully, exquisitely imperfect. For our entire lives, we are subtly fed stories of perfect connection. We see it in movies, read it in books, and construct it in our own daydreams. The story of the parent and child who are also best friends, who talk every day, who share every detail of their lives, who never misunderstand each other, who exist in a state of perpetual, harmonious connection. This ideal, like the glass sculpture we dissolved earlier, is a beautiful fantasy. But it is not the soil in which real, lasting love grows. Real love, the kind that endures for a lifetime, is not a flawless diamond. It is more like a handmade quilt pieced together over many years. If you look closely at this quilt, you will see it is full of imperfections. There are stitches that are a little crooked. There are patches of fabric that are faded from time and wear. There may be a few small tears or stains, each telling the story of a difficult moment, a misunderstanding, a time of distance. A perfectionist might look at this quilt and see only its flaws. They would point out the uneven stitching, the mismatched patterns, the signs of age. But a person who understands love would see something entirely different. They would see the warmth. They would see the history. They would see the thousands upon thousands of stitches of care that hold the whole thing together. They would understand that the quilt's beauty and its strength do not exist in spite of its imperfections, but because of them. The flaws are the proof that it is real, that it has been used, that it has provided comfort through countless seasons. The relationship you have with your children is like this quilt. It is a real, living thing, not a static ideal. It has its own unique pattern, its own history of joys and challenges. There will be times of close, daily connection, like brightly colored, tightly stitched squares. And there will be times of distance and silence, perhaps like quieter, more muted patches of fabric. There will be threads of misunderstanding and moments of unintentional hurt. There will also be vast sections of incredible strength, beauty, and unbreakable bonds. The work of peace is to stop comparing your handmade, love-worn quilt to some imaginary, machine-made blanket of perfection. It is to wrap yourself in the quilt you actually have, to feel its familiar comfort, and to cherish it for its authenticity. Accepting this beautiful imperfection means accepting that the love that exists between you is real, even in its inconsistency. This is a crucial point. The silence on the phone does not erase the love. The missed call does not invalidate the bond. The periods of distance do not cancel out the years of closeness. Love is not that fragile. The love that is real is the love that persists through these imperfections. It is the deep, foundational connection that remains even when the surface is disturbed. In many ways, this inconsistent but resilient love is far more profound than a fantasy of perfection. A love that has never been tested is a theoretical love, but a love that has weathered silence, distance, and misunderstanding and still endures, that is a love that has proven its strength. That is a love you can truly trust. It has shown that it is bigger than the daily fluctuations of mood and circumstance. Finding peace, then, is not about struggling to make the relationship perfect. It's not about trying to fix every flaw, mend every tear, or force the other person to behave according to our ideal blueprint. Peace is found in the gentle, radical act of accepting what is. It is looking at the reality of your connection, with all its beauty and all its messiness, and saying, "This is enough. This is real. And because it is real, it is precious." It's the shift from the tense struggle for what should be to a relaxed appreciation for what is. Think about the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold lacquer. The philosophy is that the piece is more beautiful for having been broken. The cracks are not something to be hidden. They are highlighted in gold, becoming a celebrated part of the object's history. Our relationships are like this. The moments of disconnection, the misunderstandings, the silent periods, these are the cracks. When we meet them with acceptance, with compassion, with a renewed effort to connect when the time is right, we are mending them with gold. Our bond becomes stronger, more resilient, and more beautiful, not because it was never broken, but because it has a history of being lovingly repaired. So let go of the pursuit of a flawless connection. It is a ghost that will always elude you and leave you feeling empty-handed. Instead, turn your heart toward the beautifully imperfect, strong, and resilient bond that is actually yours. Cherish its history, honor its strength, forgive its flaws. This acceptance is a soft place to land. It is the end of the struggle. It is the beginning of a deep and abiding peace, a peace that is not dependent on a perfect performance from anyone, but is rooted in a loving appreciation for the real, messy, and magnificent truth of human connection. Rest in this acceptance. It is a warm and comforting embrace. As we settle into this warm and comforting embrace of acceptance, let us now turn our loving attention to one of the most tender and vulnerable places within us. When we feel the ache of silence, it often touches a deeper fear, a question not just about the relationship, but about ourselves. The silence can begin to feel like a reflection on our own value. The thought can whisper, "If I were more important, more interesting, more worthy," they would call. This feeling of diminished worth is a heavy cloak to wear. Tonight, we are going to gently lift that cloak and replace it with a truth that is unshakable. We will do this using a powerful, constant, and beautiful image. I want you to imagine yourself standing in an open field on a clear, moonless night. The air is cool and still. Above you, the sky is a vast, dark, velvet dome, and it is filled with a breathtaking multitude of stars. There are so many that they seem to spill across the heavens like diamond dust. Some are bright and bold, others are small, faint points of light. Now, I want you to choose one. It doesn't have to be the biggest or the brightest. Just let your gaze settle on one star that feels like yours. See its steady, unwavering light. That star, in our meditation tonight, represents your worth. Your inherent, intrinsic, and absolute worth as a human being. Now, consider the nature of this star. It is a colossal, blazing sun, billions of miles away. Its light is not a fragile thing. It is a powerful, thermonuclear fire that has been burning for eons and will continue to burn for eons more. The star is not shining for anyone. It is not performing. It does not need an audience to validate its existence. It simply shines because that is its nature. It pours light and energy out into the cosmos as a fundamental expression of its own being. Your worth is exactly like this. It is not something you have to earn. It is not something that is given to you by others. It is not conditional on your performance as a parent, a friend, or anything else. It is the fundamental nature of your being. You exist, therefore you have worth. It is that simple and that profound. Your worth is your light, and it shines simply because you are you. Now, as you continue to watch your star, imagine a few clouds begin to drift across the night sky. They are wispy at first, then they grow thicker, darker. One cloud might represent a day when the phone didn't ring. Another, larger cloud could be a week of silence. Another could be the story in your mind, the whisper of self-doubt saying, "They've forgotten me." As these clouds drift in front of your star, they may temporarily obscure it from your view. For a moment, you might not be able to see its light. And in that moment, if you didn't know better, you might believe the star has gone out. You might think its light has been diminished, or that it has vanished completely. But what is the truth? Has the star changed at all? Has its colossal fire flickered for even a second? No, of course not. The star is still there, blazing with the same magnificent constant power it always has. Its reality is completely unaffected by the passing clouds. The clouds are a temporary, local weather phenomenon. The star is a cosmic, enduring truth. Your worth is the star. Their silence, your doubt, your feelings of loneliness, these are the clouds. They are real experiences, yes, but they are temporary, and they drift in a layer of atmosphere far, far below the constant reality of your star. Their silence cannot diminish your worth any more than a cloud can extinguish a sun. Believing that it can is the great mistake that causes so much of our pain. It is mistaking the weather for the cosmos. So, let this truth sink deep into your being. Your worth is a constant. It does not rise when you get a phone call, and it does not fall when you don't. It is not a stock on the market of public opinion or familial attention. It is a fixed point of light in the universe of your own soul. Knowing this, truly knowing this in your bones, is the source of unshakable peace. It means your well-being is no longer held hostage by the actions or inactions of others. You can experience the disappointment of a missed connection. The cloud is real, but it doesn't have to trigger a catastrophic crisis of your own value. You can feel the cloud pass without ever losing sight of the fact that your star is, and always will be, shining. To anchor this feeling in your body, let us do a gentle body scan. Bring your awareness to your feet, feeling their solid connection to the ground or the bed beneath you. Imagine the steady light of your star filling your feet with a solid, unwavering presence. Let this light travel up into your legs, your foundation, filling them with strength and stability. Feel this constant shining energy move into your core, the center of your being, creating a sense of deep, unshakable self-possession. Let it fill your chest and your heart, not with a needy ache, but with a quiet, radiant warmth. Allow it to flow into your arms and hands, and finally up into your head, clearing away the cloudy thoughts of doubt and replacing them with the clear, simple truth of your own constant worth. Feel your entire body, from head to toe, gently humming with this steady, stellar light. You are not a flickering candle. You are a star, and your light is always, always shining. Resting in the deep and radiant truth of your own stellar worth, we can now take the next, most tender and transformative step on our journey. We are going to turn inward and become the very source of the comfort we have been seeking from the outside world. For so long, we have stood at the door of our own heart, waiting, listening for a key to turn in the lock from the outside. We have been waiting for someone else's voice, someone else's attention, to come and soothe the quiet ache within. Tonight, we realize that we have had the key in our own pocket all along. We are now going to learn how to use it. We are going to turn from the one who waits for comfort into the one who provides it. We are going to become our own warm harbor. Let's begin with a simple, physical act of self-compassion. I invite you to gently, lovingly place a hand over the center of your chest, over your heart. If it feels right, you can place both hands there, one on top of the other. Just let your hand rest there. Don't press or push. Just allow the simple weight and warmth of your own touch to be felt. For a moment, just notice the sensation. Feel the warmth from your palm as it begins to seep through your clothing, through your skin, and into the muscles and bones of your chest. This is a powerful gesture. It is the universal sign of comfort, of care, of love. It is what you have done for your children 1,000 times when they were hurt or scared. You have placed your loving hand on them to soothe their tears. Now, you are offering that same profound healing gesture to yourself. You are giving yourself the gift of your own gentle physical presence. Now, let's bring our breath into this act of kindness. As you continue to rest your hand over your heart, begin to direct your breath into this space. As you inhale, imagine your breath is a warm, golden light flowing directly into your heart, right underneath your hand. Imagine this warm, golden breath filling your entire chest cavity, bringing with it a sense of peace, of kindness, of unconditional acceptance. Breathe in warmth. Breathe in kindness. And as you exhale, imagine you are releasing any remaining tension from this area. Exhale the ache. Exhale the tightness. Exhale the feeling of waiting. With each breath, you are consciously filling yourself with the very warmth you have been longing for and releasing the very coolness of the ache that has been causing you pain. Inhale love. Exhale loneliness. Stay with this for a few cycles of breath. This is your practice. This is you, actively and intentionally becoming your own source of comfort. The warmth you feel under your hand is not imaginary. It is the real, physical heat of your own body, the heat of your own life force. The love you are breathing in is not coming from some far-off place. It is being generated by your own intention, your own compassionate attention. You are discovering that the harbor you have been searching for on a distant shore has been here all along, within the safe and loving container of your own body, your own breath, your own presence. You are the lighthouse and the safe port in the storm. Now, as you continue this gentle practice of touch and breath, let's add the final layer, the power of kind words. These words are not for anyone else. They are a secret, a silent whisper from the kindest part of you to the most vulnerable part of you. You can repeat them silently, in your mind, letting them resonate in the warm space you've created in your chest. The words can be very simple. Perhaps you whisper, "It's okay. I am here with you." Or, "You are allowed to feel this. I am not going to leave you." Or simply, "I love you. You are worthy of love." Find the words that feel most true and nourishing for you right now. Let them be incredibly gentle, like a soft, soothing lullaby. It's okay, my dear one. You have been waiting for so long. You can rest now. I will take care of you. This ache you feel is just a sign of how much you love. It is beautiful, and I am here to hold it with you. You are whole and complete, exactly as you are. You do not need anything from the outside to make you worthy of love. Whisper these silent words of love and reassurance directly to your own heart. Feel them being received. Feel the vulnerable, waiting part of you begin to relax, to soften, to finally feel seen and cared for, not by a voice on the phone, but by the most reliable voice in the universe, your own voice of compassion. This is the great turning point. This is the metamorphosis from one who waits to one who provides. You are no longer the child sitting by the window, hoping for a parent to come home. You have become the wise, loving parent to your own inner child. You are the one who comes home to yourself. You are the one who provides the warmth, the safety, and the unconditional love. This capacity has always been within you, but perhaps you have been too busy directing it outward. Tonight, you reclaim it for yourself. You learn to fill your own cup so that any love that comes from the outside is not a desperate necessity, but a beautiful, welcome addition to a love that is already full and overflowing. Rest in this profound act of self-love. You are becoming your own warm harbor, a place of safety and peace you can return to again and again whenever the seas of life feel stormy. As you continue to hold yourself in this warm, loving embrace, feeling the gentle rhythm of your breath and the profound comfort of your own presence, we begin to drift deeper into a state of profound rest. The pace now slows. The journey inward becomes softer, more fluid. Imagine that the warmth and kindness you have cultivated in your heart is beginning to liquefy. It is transforming into a gentle, soothing river of self-compassion. And this river is now beginning to flow slowly and peacefully from your heart out into every single part of your body. Feel this warm, liquid light as it begins to flow. It moves without any effort, following the pathways of your own body, seeking out the places that most need its gentle touch. Let this river of compassion flow upwards from your chest into your throat. Feel it soothing the place where unspoken words may have gathered, dissolving any lump of sadness or frustration. It softens the muscles of your neck, releasing the tension of holding your head up all day, of watching and waiting. Let the warmth flow over your shoulders, cascading down like a gentle waterfall, washing away the invisible weight of responsibility and worry that you so often carry there. Feel your shoulders literally dropping, softening, letting go. Now, let the river flow down your arms. Feel its warmth seeping into your biceps, your elbows, your forearms. Let it pool in the palms of your hands, the very hands that you open to release the hot ember of anger. This compassionate flow soothes any lingering heat and fills your hands with a sense of peace and gentle strength. Let it flow into each finger, one by one, until your arms and hands feel completely at ease, heavy and deeply relaxed. There is nothing for them to do right now, nothing to hold on to, nothing to fix. They can simply rest. Now, bring your awareness back to your heart, the source of this gentle river. Feel the main current now flowing downwards into the center of your body. Let it wash through your solar plexus, the area of your stomach and abdomen. This is a place where we often hold anxiety and uncertainty. Let this warm, flowing compassion gently massage this area from the inside out. It soothes the sharp edges of disappointment. It smooths out the knots of worry. It fills that hollow feeling with a sense of gentle, peaceful fullness. It whispers to your body that all is well, that you are safe, that you can release your guard. Allow this soothing river to continue its journey downward, flowing into your lower back, a place that often carries the strain of our lives. Imagine the warm water loosening every tight muscle, creating space between the vertebrae, allowing your entire spine to release and lengthen. Feel the river flow into your hips, your pelvis, inviting a deep sense of letting go. We hold so much tension in our hips, bracing ourselves against life. Let the river of compassion invite them to open, to soften, to release their grip. Now feel the current dividing, flowing down into both of your legs. Let this wave of deep relaxation travel through your thighs, your knees, your calves. It carries away any restlessness, any urge to move. It washes away the residue of hurt that may have settled in your body. Your legs have carried you through so much. They have stood strong for so many people. Now, they are being held, soothed, and thanked by this gentle river of your own kindness. Let them become heavy, limp, and completely still. Finally, feel the river flowing all the way down into your ankles, your feet, and out through the tips of your toes, carrying with it any last traces of tension, any final residue of the day's concerns. It flows out of you and into the earth, leaving your entire body feeling cleansed, soothed, and deeply, profoundly peaceful. Your whole body is now floating in this gentle, internal river. Every cell is bathed in warmth and compassion. Every muscle is relaxed. Every nerve is soothed. The pace of your mind slows down to match the pace of this lazy, flowing river. Thoughts may still arise, but they are like leaves floating gently on the water's surface. They drift by without disturbance. They are no longer a problem to be solved. There is nothing to do right now, nothing to figure out. The only work of this moment is to surrender to the gentle current of your own self-compassion, to allow yourself to be held, to allow yourself to drift. You are moving now, effortlessly, towards the deep, quiet ocean of sleep. Let the river carry you, let go, and drift. As you drift on this slow, peaceful river of compassion, your awareness begins to shift once more. It gently expands from the inner world of your body to the quiet space that surrounds you. Let your attention now turn to the silence in the room. Listen to it. At the beginning of our journey, this silence may have felt heavy, charged with the weight of an unfulfilled expectation. It might have felt like a void, an emptiness that amplified your sense of being alone. But something has changed. Through our gentle work together, the very quality of the silence has undergone a metamorphosis. I want you to listen to it now, with new ears. It is no longer an empty void. Can you feel the difference? It is now a soft, protective blanket. The quiet that fills your room is no longer defined by the voice that is absent. It is now defined by the presence that is here, your presence. It is a silence that you have filled with your own warmth, your own kindness, your own gentle breath. It is a silence that is now holding you. It wraps around you like the softest cashmere, insulating you from the noise and the demands of the outside world. It is a gentle cushion for your tired mind and body. This is no longer a lonely silence. It is a sacred silence. This quiet is now a space for healing. It is a sanctuary. Think of a deep, ancient forest where the air is still and the light is soft. The silence there is not empty. It is full of a deep, restorative peace. It is the kind of quiet that allows for profound growth to happen beneath the surface. Your room has become this forest. The silence is the rich, fertile soil in which the seeds of self-compassion we have planted tonight can quietly germinate and take root. In this protective stillness, your body knows it is safe to do its deepest work of repair and restoration. Your mind knows it is safe to finally let go of its vigilance, its constant watching and waiting. You have created, right here in your own space, the perfect conditions for healing. The silence is not your adversary anymore. It has become your most powerful ally. It is the sanctuary where you can rest completely and utterly without needing anything from anyone. Now, let your sense of hearing become very subtle, very refined. Listen deeper into the silence. You will begin to notice that it is not truly empty at all. It is filled with a symphony of gentle, ambient sounds. These are the sounds of the night, and they are a lullaby. Perhaps you can hear the faint, distant hum of the city settling down for the night. Or maybe it's the gentle whisper of the wind outside your window. You might hear the quiet hum of an appliance in another room, a steady, reassuring drone. You might even be able to hear the subtle creaks and groans of your own home as it settles in the cool night air, breathing along with you. These sounds are not an intrusion. They are the texture of the quiet. They are the gentle, rhythmic heartbeat of the world at rest. Let these sounds wash over you without needing to label or identify them. Just allow them to be the soft soundtrack to your descent into sleep. They are reminders that you are not alone in the universe. You are part of a world that is breathing, shifting, and resting all around you. The sound of the wind is the breath of the earth. The hum of the house is the sound of your shelter protecting you. Each tiny ambient sound is a note in a lullaby composed just for you in this very moment. There is no need to wait for a voice on the phone to soothe you. The entire world, in its own quiet way, is singing you to sleep. The silence is no longer a symbol of what you are missing. It has been completely transformed. It is now a symbol of what you have found. You have found a peace that is not dependent on noise or conversation. You have found a comfort that is not dependent on external reassurance. You have found a sanctuary within yourself and within your own quiet space. The silence is the soft bed upon which you can now lay down your weary heart. It is the deep, still pool in which you can cleanse yourself of the day's worries. It is the vast, quiet sky under which you can finally feel your own stellar worth, shining without obstruction. Feel the peace of this. The silence is no longer a question mark. It is a period, a full stop at the end of a long and difficult day. It is a gentle, final statement that says, all is well. You can rest now. Let this new understanding of the silence be your final waking thought. It is not empty. It is full of peace, full of healing, and it is all yours. And now, as we drift in this peaceful, sacred silence, we arrive at the final, most profound transformation of our journey together. This is the culmination of everything we have explored. It is the quiet blossoming of the seed we planted at the very beginning. We are about to realize a truth so simple and yet so powerful that it can change everything. The truth is this: love is not something you get, it is something you are. It is not a commodity to be delivered from the outside. It is the very essence of your own breath, the very fabric of your own being. For so much of our lives, we are conditioned to think of love as an external resource. We feel empty, and we look to others to fill us up. We feel lonely, and we wait for a call to make us feel connected. We feel unworthy, and we hope for praise to make us feel valuable. We have been holding out an empty cup, waiting for someone else to pour into it. But the entire journey tonight has been about turning our gaze away from the empty cup and toward the infinite ocean that resides within. We have discovered the wellspring of love we have given, the steadfast light of our own worth, and the warm harbor of our own compassionate presence. And now we integrate this understanding into our most vital, life-sustaining rhythm, our breath. Let your awareness come to rest once more on the gentle, effortless movement of your breathing. This breath has been your faithful companion since the moment you were born, and it will stay with you until your very last. It is the most intimate and reliable process of your life. And we are now going to infuse it with this final, liberating realization. As you take your next breath in, I want you to imagine that you are not just inhaling air. You are inhaling a sense of your own wholeness. You are breathing in the truth that you are already complete, exactly as you are. Breathe in the feeling of self-sufficiency, not a cold and lonely independence, but a warm and peaceful self-possession. Inhale the quiet, radiant energy of the star that is your own worth. Breathe in the comforting, unconditional love that you have learned to provide for yourself. Each in-breath is a confirmation of your own completeness. And now, as you exhale, I want you to imagine that you are releasing the very last traces of neediness. Let go of the habit of looking outside yourself for validation. Exhale the posture of waiting. Let go of the feeling of being a victim of someone else's silence. Release the story that your happiness is in someone else's hands. With each gentle out-breath, you are letting go of the illusion that love is something you lack. You are releasing the ache, the longing, the subtle tension of wanting something you believe you don't have. Inhaling wholeness, exhaling neediness. This is not a forceful process. It is a gentle, soft, and final surrender. With every cycle of breath, you are repatterning your deepest understanding of love. Love is no longer a distant island you are trying to swim to. It is the water in which you are effortlessly floating. It is not the voice you are waiting to hear. It is the silence that is peacefully holding you. It is not the warmth of another's hand. It is the steady warmth of your own heart. It is the very air that is sustaining you in this moment. Can you feel the profound peace in this? The search is over. The waiting is done. You have arrived home, and you have discovered that you were home all along. As you continue to breathe in this new way, inhaling your own completeness, exhaling the old story of lack, another beautiful sensation may begin to arise. It is the feeling of being held. But you are not being held by another person. You are being held by the gentle, rhythmic rising and falling of your own body. Your breath is rocking you, like a mother rocking a sleeping child. It is a gentle, internal lullaby that will continue all through the night. You are also being held by the soft bed beneath you. Feel its solid, unwavering support. The mattress, the pillows, the blankets, they have all conspired to create a perfect nest for you. They ask for nothing in return. They simply hold you, offering their comfort and stability without condition. You are being held by the quiet room around you, by the stillness of the night, by the gentle pull of gravity. You are being held, completely and safely, by life itself. You do not need to grasp or cling. You can finally let go. Let go of all the effort. Let go of the need to be strong. Let go of the need to be anything other than what you are in this moment. A human being, breathing quietly, held safely, on the verge of deep, restorative sleep. The love that you are is enough. The support that you have is enough. You are enough. Let this be the final truth that settles over you like the softest blanket as you prepare to drift into sleep. You are love, breathing it in, breathing it out, held, safe, whole. And so, we arrive at the final threshold. Here, at the soft and hazy borderland between waking and dreaming, we surrender fully to the next and most natural phase of our metamorphosis. We surrender to sleep. For so long, we may have fought against this moment, our minds too full of worry, our hearts too full of ache to let go. But tonight is different. We have journeyed far, not across miles, but through the inner landscapes of our own heart. We have transformed the sharp edges of disappointment into the soft curves of acceptance. We have turned the cold void of silence into a warm, protective sanctuary. Now, sleep is not an escape we desperately seek, but a peaceful destination we are ready to arrive at. It is the final, gentle unfolding of the healing we have already begun. Understand now that allowing yourself to fall asleep is the ultimate act of self-care and profound trust. It is a nightly demonstration of your faith in the world and in yourself. To fall asleep, you must believe that you are safe. You must trust that the world will continue to turn without your conscious supervision. You must have faith that your own body, this miraculous and intelligent vessel, knows exactly how to heal and restore itself while your mind is at rest. Sleep is the ultimate letting go. It is the surrendering of control, the release of vigilance, the dissolving of the ego and its endless stream of concerns. It is our nightly return to the source, a dip into the great, mysterious ocean of consciousness from which we emerged. It is not an ending, but a sacred pause. It is nature's perfect alchemy. Think of the chrysalis. The caterpillar does not know what it will become. It simply surrenders to an innate biological imperative. It dissolves into a nutrient-rich soup, a state of complete chaos and unknowing. It trusts the process. Sleep is our own nightly chrysalis. In the darkness and the quiet, our minds dissolve the rigid structures of the day. Our brains wash themselves clean, consolidating memories, clearing out the clutter of anxieties and trivialities. Our bodies repair their tissues, rebuild their strength, and replenish their energy. We are, in a very real sense, unmade and then remade every single night. And we do this without any conscious effort at all. Our only task is to provide the conditions for this miracle to occur. The quiet, the darkness, the feeling of safety, and then to surrender, to trust in the profound, ancient wisdom of our own biology. As you feel the pull of sleep growing stronger, that gentle, heavy undertow, do not resist it. Welcome it as a dear friend. It is the loving hand of your own inner healer, reaching out to guide you into the restorative darkness. It is the final act of the warm harbor you have built for yourself. You have made the port safe. You have calmed the stormy waters. And now, you can finally drop anchor and allow the great tide of sleep to carry you into the deep. There is nothing left to figure out tonight. The questions that echoed in the silence at the beginning of our journey have been answered, not with words from the outside, but with a deep, resonant peace from within. The search for reassurance has ended because you have found it in the steady rhythm of your own breath and the constant light of your own worth. Let your last, drowsy thought be this: the love you have so carefully cultivated within yourself tonight will not vanish in your sleep. It is not a fragile state that will be gone by morning. It is a new foundation you have laid. It is a wellspring you have rediscovered. And it will be here, waiting for you, in the morning light. When you wake, the world will be the same, but you will be different. You will meet the day not from a place of lack, but from a place of quiet, self-possessed fullness. The silence on the phone may or may not come, but it will no longer have the power to define your peace. You will have your own. You have remembered that you are the gardener, the star, the harbor, and the wellspring. This knowledge, once truly felt, can never be unfelt. It is now a part of you. So drift now. Let the sentences unravel. Let the thoughts soften and blur at the edges. You are safe. You are held. You are whole. The metamorphosis is complete for today, and tomorrow a new day will dawn. But for now, there is only this gentle, peaceful, and well-deserved rest. Surrender to the quiet. Surrender to the darkness. Surrender to sleep.